Resident Evil Survivor. There's only so much people can say when talking about Resident Evil Survivor, and there's only so much that has been said. One thing, for instance, that it's a light gun game where the gun peripheral, at least in America, is useless. It also strikes a chord in the hearts of many survival horror gamers as being one of the worst survival horror games ever created. Hell, some have even said it's one of the worst games of all time. But I'm here to review this game and put that to the test. Biohazard Gun Survivor was the first spin-off game created for the series as an off-rails light gun shooter released by Capcom in Japan in early 2000, with it coming to European and American shores later that year. I bought this game when it first came out, and it was a whole new experience. Resident Evil first person, definitely a whole new experience for me. I mean, yeah, the first Resident Evil was designed originally as a first person shooter, but that turned into one of the great survival game series of all time, with its tank-like system and static camera angles. This was a new experience, the fourth game in the series, and it tried something different. It tried it on a whole new plane. Didn't really work though, did it? While Code Veronica for the Sega Dreamcast was also released the same year, and followed the main story, this game was created more so to expand the universe, and as such the gameplay style changed to this light gun format, in a very mild attempt at trying to also expand its audience, and it failed miserably. While Japanese and European versions of this game had GunCon support, America did not, and as such the game has a much slower paced feel to it than does with said peripheral, and for some that kills the game outright. I have never had a GunCon before. I have never played a game with the GunCon on the PlayStation 1, 2 or 3, and I've never played this with the GunCon before. And I'm not going to start now. We're playing with this with the controller, baby. Since I own the European version of this game but only own an American PlayStation 1, I'll be playing this game on my PlayStation 3 using my PS3 controller. Let's start this game. There are only two difficulty settings, easy and normal. Oh, which one do I pick? Oh my god, this is so difficult. I'll go with normal.
Resident
I mean, who wants to play a game that's easy, right? Anyway, the story of this game follows an amnesiac protagonist and, like me, you've just lost interest, haven't you? Amnesiac protagonists are usually a bad sign, as they generally fail to deliver on any kind of twist. And even when they do, it's poorly executed. And it's no different here. You play as James Sutherland from Silent Hill 2? Hey, I know that guy. He wears a green anorak and chases children too. A Silent Hill Resident Evil crossover. That would actually be a neat twist, wouldn't it? I mean, that would... jizz in my pants.
You're not going to get away.
After a classic Resident Evil intro, and I mean so classic, you take control and, depending on your region or preferred playstyle, you either have an easy to play interface or don't. Very shortly into the game, you come across the man in white who is hanging onto your helicopter declaring in very bad dialogue, and he has a dog tag with the name Ark Thompson on it. This is you. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's a spoiler, but the game spoils it for you anyway. I mean, if they were your dog tags, you'd be wearing them, right? Despite the bad graphics, he is clearly holding the dog tags in his hand. Who does that? Who just carries their own dog tags? They're not his. It makes no sense. As it's not hard to miss, let's talk about the graphics. They're bad. I mean really bad. If you noticed, the character models are from Resident Evil 2, a game released 2 years before this. No new zombie or tyrant models for that matter. Now it's not so bad for the tyrants, the zombies don't look like zombies. They look like glitches. character models, however, the newer and slightly updated ones, are not a sore sight, unlike a zombie up close, which, while scary, is so for the wrong reason. It looks like I'm in a horrifying version of Minecraft.
Helicopter! Vincent! This is all your fault! You made them send those cleaners to destroy this place!
Cleaners? What do you
Also, take note of the voice acting. There isn't any. Acting, anyway. The dialogue in Resident Evil 1 was cheesy, and this adds a whole new level. Barry Burton is known for having the most horrible dialogue of any game.
Be eaten by a monster. But just take a look at this. Well, it seems I made you worry, but don't.
What is it?
It looks like he was killed by a crow or something.
Well,
I'm
wrong.
sorry, Jill. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
It goes to every character in this game.
I am Vincent. It was all my fault.
Barry was charming
I
at
have a
least in
rope
his cheesiness.
Is that you, Jill?
What?
Everyone here comes off as annoying. And I'll get into that as we're introduced to each character.
You are a good boy, Lot.
I know I've only talked about the voice acting and the graphics so far, but they are the game's weakest points. The rest of the game is actually pretty damn well average. It's probably the best thing to say. I mean, you generally find moments where you're completely immersed in the environment. The music fits well, the scenario itself fits well, until a texture blurs, or a zombie up close, or someone starts talking.
Please!
Anyway, back on track. The story kicks off after kneeling over the body and taking care of the zombie, introducing you to the combat. Now you've got R1 and X, or square, or triangle, whatever combination you chose to select in the option screen to fire. That's the combat. You point and shoot. I mean, what else is there to say?
I can't believe.
Now the game does have a very interesting mechanic that allows it replay value. At the start there are 3 doors, 3 different paths with its own items and files. Going down one prevents access to the other. And the first of these areas are a teaser to the biggest factor of the game. Getting past 2 mysterious phone calls where Ark starts to believe he is Vincent.
Who is this? Vincent? Who's that?
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Wait. Am I Vincent?
From here you have 3 paths that will define your story. The arcade will show an introduction to the cleaners, an umbrella bioweapon team that clear up messes like the spill here on Sheena Island. This is the easiest and quickest route.
Helicopter! Vincent! This is all your fault!
The second is the library, where we meet Andy. He's been making them phone calls, and he's a little bit psycho. Only a little. The last is the hospital, and going this direction resurrects the real Vincent,
I won't allow you to
who becomes the primary
You're
villain.
going to pay for what you've done. What? Helicopter? No. The cleaners have already arrived.
Action!
Each path has their own villain, but aside from minor story changes in the journey itself, the ending, big spoiler, doesn't change, or indeed Ark's personal story. It's purely aesthetic. Each path has its own additional handgun, and when the paths reconnect, weapons such as the shotgun, grenade launcher, can be found more linearly. I gotta talk about the weapons. The handgun is infinite ammo, and in total with replaying the game you can get 4 different handguns, each with varying stats, and you can stick with whichever suits you best. Now the shotgun and such, the power weapons, have limited ammo but are ultimately worthless. The game, despite having different difficulties, is by no means difficult. You can get through this game easily without using your power weapons, it's just they take enemies down quicker, and therefore only need to be utilised if you're redoing a speed run, which is useful for getting that S rank for the rocket launcher.
A picture.
It is when the paths reconnect that Ark firmly believes he is Vincent.
No, this is me. I am Vincent. It was all my fault.
We are also introduced to Lot.
Who are you?
Wait. Please don't kill me.
One of two, that's right, two annoying children that seem to have survived the outbreak.
Stop.
Lot isn't the most annoying character in the game, however. He's right up there. He really truly is right up there. With some of the stupid stuff he does in the game, really just... oh well, but he's not the most annoying. It's his little brat of a fucking sister Lily, who's so painfully annoying. And you'll know why very shortly. To be honest, she doesn't have much of a pronounced appearance. She is nevertheless there. What I find creepy is that from this point, Ark starts chasing these kids down. Although it's to get his memory back from Lot, who knows him, I can't help but feel it's more sinister.
Hey!
You chase the boy to a prison, filled with zombies of course, and diaries to help you along with the story. Turns out this place is a prison that's exclusively housing kidnapped children. Wait, hold on. If this place housed children, then why are there naked adult zombies in the cells? Ugh, it's nasty! The Ark feels right at home. Now from this point there are two paths. Sorry, I still can't get that image in my head. Ugh. Now from this point there are two paths. One that leads to a sewer with the monster from Resident Evil 2, or you can jump the wall that has you fight a monster from Resident Evil 2. In case you hadn't noticed, the programmers were lazy and didn't want to create anything new or unique. Well, that's not entirely the case if I'm honest. That crocodile, you fight two of them at the same time. It's without a doubt the most toughest enemy encounter in the game. And the tyrant does have an excuse for being here. And here. And here. Twice. Well, this island is the leading manufacturer of this tyrant model. And kidnapping children helps with that, I guess. I should probably bring up the fact that the fighting in this game is very poorly designed. Let me demonstrate with this fight here. Tyrant and the Croc are both easy to evade. As they attack, step back, fire a couple of shots, step back more. While their animations play out, they don't realise you've moved away from them. Oh, the Hunters are the worst. The once most fearful enemy in any Resident Evil game. An enemy that took two magnum shots to kill. Rarest ammo in any game as well. Losing track, but fucking hell, the Hunters are pussy arse in this. They don't even try, they just keep trying to get in front of you. Talk about being vain. They're the epitome of vain in this game. Other enemies in the game are like this as well, but it's just sad to see the Hunters become the bitch. The complete laughing stock. They jump in front of you, which means you've got to then run into a wall, but they can't hurt you. If you keep looking at the wall and running against it, going in the direction you want, they can't hurt you. They won't take a swipe. They're just annoying because they get in the way. Anyway, moving on. After a few more very dull and poorly designed yet inspired locations, like this warehouse,
Umbrella.
you get to Umbrella HQ, where you see a little cutscene and get glimpses of your returning memory. However, nothing can prepare you for perhaps the funniest thing you will hear in this game or any other.
Vincent, it's me, your mother. to your mother. I want you to leave Umbrella. I want you to stop performing those terrible crimes and just come back home.
Imagine if all villains got a phone call from their mom.
Greetings, Mother. Would you please stop calling me at work? I'm busy. I'm in the middle of an experiment that will change the world. No, I do not want to go to the mall. It's frivolous and beneath me. No, I don't want to come to Thanksgiving. He isn't my real father.
Now the sound design in this game is actually pretty decent for the most part. The music, when it wants to be, can be very atmospheric, though there are some instances where it just seems out of place. This game, while having over a dozen tyrants, does not have the tyrant theme. That's right, loads of tyrants in this game, does not have the tyrant theme for Resident Evil 2. Needs the tyrant theme for Resident Evil 2, or an arrangement. I mean, okay, check this scene out. One tyrant, doesn't seem much threatening, right? Let's add the music. See, it's a lot more effective. We're also introduced to an 8-year-old Lily Klein, as played by a voice actress who clearly isn't pretending to be an 8-year-old. Here is your winner on worst voice acting in this game.
I don't know. I was only listening to it because I'm so bored. My brother...
Actually, scratch that. That kind of makes it sound like everyone else is trying. They all suck equally. But her voice is just grating to hear.
Please!
Anyway, after Lot takes a swing at you for touching his sister, which instantly makes him the smartest character in the game, and the smartest kid in any Resident Evil, to be honest. They run away, and Art, being the creepy anorak wearing man he is, gives chase. Eventually getting to the Klein household, and talks to Lily, who explains Lot has run off to find a way out of the city. Meaning, you have to go find him.
I may have been a bad
Do I
person,
really?
but that was before.
Aw.
That's not who I am now. I will save these two kids.
After vowing to himself that he'll save these kids, he runs after Lot. You eventually end up in another location. When the path splits, one of course is the easiest, and is filled with the cleaners, and... My god! This is what I mean about the draw distance. It looks like they just got lazy. If you keep running, they can't hit you. This is the quickest route. The next route is the most difficult if it spawns hunters because they constantly jump in front of you. But the last route is the most terrifying because it has the most deadliest enemy in any Resident Evil game. Boulders! They are everywhere. They watch you. They'll sneak up on you. They'll find you. They'll trap you. They'll block your path. They'll do anything. They'll... Oh my god! This will stick you along a cliff face with many tyrants. But killing them is pointless, as these ones do not relinquish ammo. They're easy to run past, so yeah, not tough actually. After reaching a mansion, wait a minute! Actually, you just go straight into the labs, and after finding keycards and encountering IVs and more enhanced lickers from Resident Evil 2, you get to this bridge with rows of tyrants on either side.
They are creating these monsters on this island.
Okay, this part of the game has one of the biggest letdowns I've ever encountered in any game. Why? Let's take a look. Okay, surrounded by tyrants. This is pretty awesome. I'm locked in. Do I have to fight all of them? Oh wait, one jumps onto the platform. You have to fight it. Oh my god, it takes loads of ammo, but you kill it. And Lot screams out. You're free to go? What? Come on, I only fight one of them? There is an awesome setup for a clash against dozens of tyrants here. But you fight one! One! Oh. Here you're trapped, but you only fight one tyrant. You should be fighting all of them. The closest point was the cliff face earlier in the game. But I can't count that, as you could just leave the area. Have you ever played Metal Gear Solid 2? Big spoiler here, but by the end of the game, depending on the difficulty, you fight up to 25 Metal Gears. 25! It's one of the most fun boss battles in games I've ever had. And then here, it's set up, but you only fight one. And you've been doing that most of the game anyway. It would have been awesome to fight an army of tyrants in one room. It would have added the tension that this game really needed. And boy, this game needs a lot more tension than it gets, because it's gotten the smidgenest bit, and here it fails to deliver on what could have been the standout that this game could have been. It could have delivered the biggest fight ever. It definitely would have made the game stand out more than what it is. And sorry, but it's baffling. That's why I'm finding it hard to speak right now. You have an awesome setup. Why did you fail at using it?
It's not your fault. Vincent is the one who caused everything. Well, I mean,
Anyway, it turns out Locke knew you were the good guy Ark Thompson after all. And not Vincent.
Ark Thompson.
What? Really?
What?
I'm not Vincent?
What?
Then why did you...
I'm not angry because that's a poor spoiler. If Locke knew, if he knew Ark was genuinely a good guy, then why, oh why, did he keep running away from you and even attempted manslaughter on you? The only viable explanation, and no, Locke thinking Ark was Vincent is not a viable explanation, because he just explained that he knew he was a good guy. And also the fact Locke then says he thought Ark would have killed him when he was the good guy, and Locke knew this. That's not a viable explanation. The only viable explanation that I can think of, that I can fathom in my brain, the only thing that makes sense is that Ark really is a pedophile and is chasing these kids down, and Locke's defending himself and his sister. It makes sense. Ark is Herbert.
Where you going, kids? Hey, I just want to talk to you. Why don't you come over to my place for a glass of wine and a couple of fruit pies, and then we can go in the back room and play crazy snakes. I
mean, it just makes perfect sense. No, it doesn't. Locke, you spend your entire time running away from Ark because you thought he would kill you, even though you knew he was the good guy? And then you hug him. Oh my god, the mixed signals. Ark, get away from him. He's going to kill you, then he wants to hug you. This is becoming very Catholic. We soon see a brief glimpse of the final boss, T-Hypnos. And depending on the path you chose at the second split in the game, you get either 3 of the villains, who then die at the hands of the boss you just saw. Way to hold the tension, game. He's not hard, just fire and step back when he goes to swipe at you and he'll quickly fall. It's the same tactic to use on any enemy. Though it does look like he might come back. This is the last part of the game.
Get in the helicopter!
It's T-Hypnos in his second form, or is it Hypnos? I don't know. It jumps around, it's a lot faster, and is easy to defeat using the same tactic as before. Its jump and slash attack, however, is best avoidable by running past it as it's in the air. After dishing out enough damage, it transforms further into this fat fuck. But don't be fooled, it's still fast and will now grab you and try to stab you with its claw. Just unload all your ammo, and since the handgun is infinite, you can't lose this fight. You can't! It'll eventually fall with whatever method you use. And you get the final cutscene, with the island exploding and Ark and the children disappearing into the sunrise. But oh wait, the tyrant is still alive! Now this moment, and this is underrated because Survivor gets all the crap, but this scene has one of the coolest monster boss death scenes of any game ever. I mean, watch. Just watch.
Get down!
That was awesome! Seriously, that's how deaths should be. That's awesome. Survivor has that. It gets all the shit, but that's awesome. Seriously, take note. Survivor has an awesome death boss. I know I've spoiled it in the game, but it doesn't matter because awesome. Awesome. Now that's Resident Evil Survivor. Now is it the worst Resident Evil game on the PlayStation? Obviously. Is it the worst survival horror game ever? No. Is this a game non-Resi fans should try out? No way. But should a fan of the first 3 Resident Evil games want to pick this up and play it and give it a try? Most definitely. It's sure only taken on average about an hour or so to complete, not skipping the cutscenes. While the graphics and voice acting are horrible and laughable, the sound design is pretty decent and the music sets up the atmosphere as best it can for the style of game it is. The gameplay itself is fun with the controller if you like normal Resident Evil controls. But for people who prefer first-person shooting controls, then it's probably better to get the gun con. That will affect my rating here. As I've said, this is actually a really fun Resident Evil game, and if you're a hardcore fan of the originals, do pick this up. It is fun to play. It can be done in about an hour or so, depending on how you like to play. It's got decent replay value, definitely enjoyable. At least give it a try if you love the first 3 Resident Evil games. This is my guilty pleasure. Hands up, I'll play this on a rainy day. But my review, my total points on this system, I'll give this 2 out of 5 stars. Why? Because you'd probably get a lot more enjoyment if you had the gun con than with the controller. It does feel stiff and slow, but if you like the old Resident Evil controls, you can take it.
What are we gonna do?
I don't know, but don't worry. We can fly as long as we have fuel.
That's obvious. Thank you for watching my first review. I hope you come back for more. If you like, there's a link to videos down here. Or if you want to keep up to date with me, you can subscribe to my channel, like my videos, follow me on Facebook or Twitter. Click on something. You might like it.